welcome. Linda here with another live session this week. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful day. I hope it's a beautiful day where you are, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day today to spend it with me. Today, we're going to talk all about TEFL resumes and how you can boost your own TEFL resume for applying for teaching jobs abroad or online or in your own home country. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's a really important and exciting topic. And I hope you're ready to hopefully learn a couple of new things. And maybe if you've already looked for a TEFL job in the past, you got a TEFL job, you have experience teaching abroad or online or in your home country, maybe you can throw in some of your own tips as well so we can grow this list together. That'd be really cool if you could also share your experience. And I'm also going to share, obviously, my experience. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. So thank you guys so much for being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our other upcoming live sessions. As you might know or might not know, we go live once a week every Friday. So usually this time, this day, that's my day where I sit down, I take some time, and I spend it with you guys out there. So that's what's happening. And usually every week we have a different topic that we talk about related to TEFL, TESOL, teaching abroad, teaching online, teaching English as a foreign language, everything under the sun regarding this topic. Really. And every first Friday of the month, so last week we did that, we sit down for a casual TEFL Q&A. So during that time, you can ask me your questions, and I try my best to answer them. And we're also doing this today. At the end of this session, there's always time for a Q&A where you can ask a couple of questions before I sign off. Usually these live sessions take between 45 minutes up to an hour sometimes, or even more than that. But I think today will not go that long, but who knows? Maybe you guys have a lot of questions, and I'm not signing off before I've answered all of them. So it's really up to you how long you want these sessions to last. And obviously, if you don't have that much time, you can always come back and watch the replay. All of our live sessions are always saved in our playlists on Facebook and on YouTube. So you can come back and watch them later, or you can browse the playlists and see what other topics there are that we've talked about in the past that maybe you are interested in and also want to check out. Also, there is a 30% off opportunity. So let me show you real quick. Yes, we do have a 30% discount that we share during these live sessions. So what you can do, guys, you can either scan this QR code that you see right here. That's one way how you can do it. Or let me see. I also have a link for you if you can't scan the QR code, and I'm going to share that link right now in the comment box. So if you click on that link, basically you fill out the application, you pick the course that you want, and you get 30% off. So that's usually how it works. This is what it looks like. It ends with Facebook Live minus Linda, and that gets you 30% off. So I just wanted to mention that right at the beginning so we all know. I'm also going to mention that again later because we get some new people joining, or maybe you forget. I just want to remind you. So that's how it works. And also, guys, if you can see me, if you can hear me clearly, just leave a hi in the comments and maybe let me know where you are right now. Where are you watching from? I'm always very curious about where people are. Where are you watching from? What are you doing? Let me know. That would be highly appreciated. I'm in South Korea. It is 10 a.m. Friday morning, so I'm slowly making my way into the weekend. Super excited about that. But I'm still here. I'm still taking my time for you today, but that's what's going to happen later. Anyway, where are you guys? What time is it? How are you doing today? Are you TEFL certified? Are you not yet certified? Feel free to share in the comments. I'm really curious. I want to know. Oh, cool. We have somebody from Egypt. Okay. Hi. How are you doing? Engli Tech? Very nice. From Egypt. Awesome. What time is it in Egypt right now? Must be like, must be really early in the morning, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I have no idea. Something like that. Oh, cool. Gregory in South Korea as well. Hi. Where in South Korea are you? Awesome. Cool. That's really cool. South Korea here. Engli Tech is doing fine. It's after 3 a.m., right? Wow. Okay. That's so early. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited. All right. Gregory is in Gyeonggi, Gwangju. Nice. Very nice. I'm in Cheongju in Chungbuk, which is kind of near Sejong City and Daejeon. So I'm sort of in the middle of the country. Very nice. Awesome. All right. How about you other people here? I see we have a lot of people watching. Guys, let me know where you are. We have Engli Tech here in Egypt, and we have Gregory in South Korea. I'm in South Korea as well. What about you guys? Oh, yeah. Engli Texas suggests a conversation material to study to improve speaking. Very good. So, actually, what you can do, you can go to our website. Hold on. It is this link. I'm just going to share the link with you so you can check it out. 1 second. And we have a lot of material on this page that you can use, and they're sorted by category. So we have a category speaking. What is it called? Speaking tips, I think. Speaking. What is it called? Speaking. Here, so yeah, speaking tips. If you scroll down a little bit and you go to speaking tips, there are a lot of activities, and you just click on one, and then you will see the activity. So check that out. I just shared it. Looks like this. So English minus grammar minus corner. That's where it is. And then you look for speaking tips, and I'm sure you find something there. All right. Cool. Yeah, then yeah. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our upcoming live sessions. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna jump into today's topic, okay? So yeah, today we're going to talk about TEFL resumes and how you can boost your TEFL resume. And I think that a lot of people watching here today are already certified and they have teaching experience. Maybe you have worked as an English teacher abroad before, so maybe you can also share some tips and tricks, what you did maybe to improve your own resume. That'd be also really great. I'm going to share my tips, what I have personally done to boost my resume. And we're going to look at 6 different tips how we can boost our resumes. And I think it's going to be really fun. So let's jump right in. Yeah, we did that. 30% off. Okay. All right. First, I'm going to introduce myself for people who don't know who I am. My name is Linda. I'm a travel writer and content creator under the name Linda Goes East. East because I'm super interested in Asia. I've been living in Asia for almost 10 years now. I lived in China, and I've been living in South Korea for over 7 years. And I've also traveled all over Asia, and my own personal website, lindagoeseast.com, and my Instagram at lindagoeseast.com are all kind of content about living and traveling in Asia. And also on my blog, on my website, lindagoeseast.com, you'll find information about teaching specifically in China and in South Korea. If that's what you're interested in, feel free to check it out. I'm originally from Germany/USA, so my mom is German, my dad is American. And yeah, now I'm based in South Korea. I'm also a TEFL and TESOL marketing professional for ITTT, which is why I am here doing this for you guys, right? ITTT, if you don't know, stands for International TEFL and TESOL Training. It's a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, that's what it stands for. You can find us at teflcourse.net and at International TEFL Training on Instagram, and we're also on all the other social media platforms, so go ahead and check that out as well. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, all of that stuff. We really appreciate that. And what is ITTT? Well, ITTT is a leading TEFL and TESOL course provider worldwide. So we provide English teacher training, right? English teacher training. People who want to teach English professionally, either abroad or online, or maybe in your own home country, or maybe you want to start your own business as an English teacher, then you can come to us and we provide the training, get you that certification so that you are ready to start your new career path. All right. It doesn't matter if you come straight out of college, or if you've been working in a different field and you want just a change in your careers. We have all different kinds of course graduates. They come from all different walks of life. So it really doesn't matter what your situation is. You can do it. As long as you're fluent in English. Also, if it doesn't have to be native English speaker, right? We also provide our courses for fluent English speakers. So as long as you're fluent, you're good. So you can take the course. No problem. Yeah. So that's a little bit about myself. And now, we're just going to think about, because we talk about TEFL resumes. So what is the perfect TEFL resume? Let's have a think about that for a second. Obviously, I don't think there's a perfect TEFL resume. There's not one answer. What is the perfect TEFL resume? But because we're all different, we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different strengths, weaknesses, interests. So no TEFL resume is the same. And I don't think we could say, oh, there's like the perfect resume. But if we really had to pin it down, then the perfect TEFL resume would include this list of things. So a TEFL or a TESOL certificate for sure. That is one thing that you will definitely need. It just looks bomb on a resume. Even if you have a bachelor's degree in English or a master's or whatever it is, or if you even have a teaching license in your home country, it's just different. And for teaching English abroad, a TEFL or TESOL is definitely one of the things that you need to have. So that's one thing. Then obviously relevant work experience, so teaching experience or tutoring experience or any kind of experience like that should be on the resume, ideally. Experience abroad or language skills also look really, really great on a TEFL resume. If you've already spent some time abroad, really, really good. Also, if you have foreign language skills, it just looks really good. And we're going to talk about why that is in just a little bit. We're going to go deeper into those things. And then also English proficiency certificates. And this is mostly for non-native English teachers from other countries, not English-speaking countries. That's what you should have if you're a non-native English teacher and you want to do TEFL, TESOL professionally. So this is what we're going to look at today, all of these points a little bit more in detail, and we're going to talk about it. And like I said, if there's anything else you would like to add at any time from your own experience or your own ideas, feel free to do so, all right? Here we have Dieu Franck Felisme. Hello, teacher. Felisme from Brazil. Hi, how are you doing? Good to see you. All right, good. So that's basically it. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at the TEFL resume, how you can boost your TEFL resume considering those things. So let's jump into it. Let's have a look at the first tip. So make sure you get the right TEFL or TESOL course for the role that you're applying to, or for your goal that you want, for the kind of teaching job and the country that you want to work in the future. Make sure you get the right TEFL course. Juliana is here also. Hi, Juliana. Good to see you. So when you do a Google search and you punch in TEFL course, you're going to get thousands tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of results, because there are so many different TEFL courses. And even just on our website, you go to our website, teflcourse.net, you'll see we have so many different kinds of TEFL courses. So it can get a little overwhelming and you might not be sure, hey, which TEFL course should I sign up for? So you need to do your research, think about what do you want to do, where do you want to teach, what kind of teaching job do you want to get, and then you pick the right course for that specific role and destination. And obviously, we at ITTT, we can help you with that, right? My team can help you with that. So if you have any questions, you're not quite sure, hey, which course is right for me, reach out to us via email is a great way to reach out to us. Courses at tsol-tefl.com. You can let us know exactly, hey, this is where I want to teach. These are the kinds of students I want to teach. This is maybe how much money I want to make. Which TEFL course should I do? And then we'll be able to recommend one that is perfect for you. There's also, and I showed you guys that last week if you were watching, on our website, when you go to teflcourse.net and you're on the main website and you scroll down a little bit where you see it's a special offers, and then under that there is like a light blue sort of box where it says which is the right course for me, and then it says take our TEFL course quiz and find out in minutes. So that's another way how you can kind of do your own check which course might be right for you. So you can do that too. If you go to teflcourse.net, you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that light blue sort of banner for that quiz, and you can take the quiz and then you can find out there as well. But yeah, so let's have a look at the TEFL courses here, the right TEFL course you should get. So just be aware that 120 hours of TEFL training is the basic international standard for gaining employment as a paid English teacher abroad or teaching English online. So a couple of years ago, either people didn't even need a TEFL, it was just kind of a nice to have thing. And there's even like introductory TEFL courses. They're just like maybe 20-hour TEFL courses, 30-hour, 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour, and so on. Those are not enough anymore today. Those might be good if you want to go and volunteer teach somewhere, or if you just want to get a little bit of a taste for TEFL and see if this is right for you before you invest in a full course. But other than that, those kind of introductory courses really aren't really doing anything, and in my opinion are just kind of a waste of money because they're not really doing anything. So nowadays, you really want to get 120 hours minimum. This has really become the international standard. So even countries, there are some countries around the world where they even make 120-hour TEFL courses a requirement in order to get a work visa or an English teacher visa. We see that in a couple of countries already, and more countries are going to do it, and employers also. So just make sure you do that, at least 120 hours, and also pick there's some essential criteria for picking the right course provider. Like I said, when you do a Google search and you type in TEFL or TESOL course, you're going to get thousands, tens of thousands of different results from different providers. So how do you know which provider is the best? Obviously, ITTT, but just kidding. There are some other criterias, you can check, and they should have, obviously. So make sure that the TEFL course instruction is provided by a qualified instructor. That's a big criteria for a good TEFL course. So these instructors, they should hold a university degree related to TESOL, and they should also, the organization, the TEFL course provider, should possess accreditation from a recognized body within the field. And there's not just one accreditation for TEFL. There are actually different kinds. But really take your time, do your research. And if you find a TEFL course provider that doesn't mention anything about accreditation, you should walk away from it. because it's not recognized around the world. It's just not going to be right. So just make sure that it ticks those boxes, and ITTT does tick those boxes. I just want to mention that. Anyway, also, you should care about the course content. All right. Typically, on a good TEFL course website, you see a outline of the course content of that course. So make sure that it looks something like this. All right. So the TEFL and TESOL course content should teach you the primary skill areas required for a course graduate to teach English as a foreign language. And this includes things like here. So things like theories and methods and techniques of teaching, evaluation and testing, classroom management, lesson planning, pronunciation and phonology, receptive and productive skills also should have a grammar component. So this, if the TEFL course that you want to choose, TEFL or TESOL course you want to choose, the course outline, the course content looks something like this, then it is worth taking. All right, here we have Daniel. Hi, Daniel. How are you doing? All right, very good. Good. So this is the first point. Make sure you choose the right TEFL course. The right TEFL course being at least 120 hours from a accredited provider who ticks all of that boxes, and the course content should look something like this. All right. Then we're moving on to tip number 2. Now you can go even further with advanced TEFL courses, and they are really a good way to go. They're going to look great on your TEFL resume because, like I just said, the 120-hour course these days is really the basic standard course that pretty much anyone who wants to go abroad to teach has, right? So how can you make your resume a little bit special? Right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And this is tip number 2. How can you make that special with an advanced TEFL course? All right. So advanced TEFL courses are a great way to set yourself apart when it's time to look for jobs. So having both a base qualification, the 120 hours, plus a specialized certificate can really make a fundamental difference to your job prospects. Because, like I just said, the 120-hour course is just now the standard. So you want to aim for more than the standard, right? To stand out from the crowd, especially if you're applying for a country or a region that is very competitive, or even if we take like China is huge. It is a huge ESL market. But then inside of China, if you really want to be in Shanghai or you really want to be in Beijing, the competition is really great there, especially for the good schools. So you need to stand out, right? So that's a great way to do it. And these are some of the specialized TEFL TESOL courses that we offer at ITTT. So very popular business English, young learners, and teaching online. And then we also have now teaching grammar and phonology and ELT, academic planning, English language teaching academic planning. So these are really good add-ons that you can add to your resume that are really going to just, sprinkle a little bit of spice onto your resume. And they're also going to be extremely useful, obviously. If you want to go into teaching English to young learners, for example, if you want to go into teaching children, and if you want to be an English teacher in Asia, for example, there most likely your students are going to be children. So this is a great additional certificate to have. And this is also something I have personally done. So I got the 120-hour TEFL course in, I believe it was 2014. So I got that in 2014. And then the next one that I got to boost my resume was getting that young learner certificate. I did that. And I also got the business English certificate. Excuse me. And then I also got the teaching English online certificate also. So I have 3 those 3 specialized courses, and they just look really good on my resume. They make me stand out a little bit, and I did get business English opportunities because I have this certification as well. And it also helped me with starting to teach English online. So that's also something I started doing kind of during the pandemic because a lot of in person classes stopped. So I thought, hey, you know what? Maybe now is a good time to start or try out teaching online. And that's what I did. And that certificate really helped me doing that as well. So, yes. All right, Engli Tech has a question here. Does your course certified from Cambridge? So is your course certified from Cambridge? No, our courses are not certified from Cambridge. We are not. CELTA is a different company, right? So CELTA is a type of TEFL course, just like ITTT has types of TEFL courses, and CELTA is from Cambridge. We are not from Cambridge. We have other accreditations. And I showed that last time, but you can also check it out on our website. We have a affiliation site, so you can check out all the different accreditations because we do have online courses, in-class courses, combined courses, and the accreditations vary depending on the course, the type of course, because we have a different accreditation body who administers the in-class course because it just works differently compared to the online course. So there's some differences, but we have a bunch of accreditations that you can check out here on our website. All right. Good. Then this was the second tip. I think that is it. So let's move on. Oh no, sure. Yeah, I forgot about that. So specialized, these are the specialized because we talked about advanced TEFL courses. So we have the specialized TEFL courses, but then you can also do advanced level TEFL courses, which are basically these here. For example, the 220-hour master package. This is kind of what I did, plus the teaching online certificate. So as you can see, this master package has 3 parts. First one is the 120-hour course, the basic course, plus then 2 specializations. That's a really, really great course. That's the one I personally recommend to anyone who wants to teach English abroad because it's just so helpful with business English and teaching young learners, because those are really the 2 biggest like niche fields in teaching. So it's really good to have, and it looks good on your resume because you have 220 hours of of training compared to just 120. But you can do even more. So depending on, if you want to do if you want to pursue TEFL as really a long-term career, and maybe your goal is to move into a head teacher, kind of a leading role, then these higher packages are definitely worth looking into. So we have the 420-hour professional package, which you can see includes the TEFL diploma course. So this diploma is really another level. It's high level. It's really for people who are really serious about this career path, and maybe they want to do this long term. Maybe they want to teach at a university, or maybe you want to start your own business even. So that's really great for that. And the 550-hour expert package, that's really the highest level of TEFL training that we offer at ITTT. So this includes really a lot of stuff. And yeah, I mean, in general, the more hours of training you have, the better it looks on your resume. So it just depends on you. Personally, definitely go higher than 120 hours. My personal preference is the 220. And I mean, then you can even come back later and do the diploma later if you want to. You don't have to do them all at once, right? This is training, or professional development is a year-long process. So you can start now, and then maybe 2 years later, you're like, hey, now I really want to get that diploma in TESOL. So all up to you. It's not that you have to do this all in one go. That's not how it works. That's also not what I did. Actually, when I took the course, there was no package like this, so I had to purchase them all individually, which was a lot more expensive. That's the other downside. Um, so that's the good thing about the package, that if you do purchase the package, it's just cheaper, and it also gives you actually a lot of time. So you have up to, I think, a year to complete all of this. So there's really no time pressure, and even then you can get an extension as well. But yeah, so this is a great tip. Go for advanced level TEFL courses. They look just great on your resume. They're really going to help you out. Let's have a look at tip number 3. So if you are completely new to teaching, you want to teach abroad, maybe in a more competitive area, but you don't have any teaching experience, what can you do? You can gain experience by teaching online. This is a super, super great way to gain experience, to kind of, yeah, boost your resume with that. And it's just so incredibly easy these days to start teaching online. Like with a 120-hour TEFL, you want to get that first. Once you have that, you'll really be amazed by how quickly you can actually get started teaching online. There's so many platforms nowadays, and really because of COVID and everything, online teaching has boomed, and it continues to boom right now as well. So teaching English online can really be a launch pad to a long and successful TEFL career. For building experience and boosting your resume, teaching online is really a great, great option. Because, yeah, I mean, maybe a couple years ago it was like, oh, teaching online, like online learning, it was kind of looked down upon, or it wasn't like taken seriously. But I think, especially because of COVID and like Zoom and the Zoom boom and everything, now just teaching online really is on the same level as in-person teaching in terms of what people think, people's views and opinions. So yeah, I mean, teaching experience online is just worth just as much as in-class teaching experience. So having that on your resume is just great, and it's just super easy to do. You don't even need to go anywhere. You just need to make sure you have a stable internet connection, you have like a quiet room, you have a good computer, and literally that's it. And then you just sign up, you go through a little bit of an interview process, application process, and then that's it, and you're in. And you can get experience, and you can get money too, so that's also good. So here are some of the online teaching platforms that are currently hiring that we recommend, and this is a sheet that I've shared with you guys before, but I know maybe some people are new here, so I just want to share that with you as well. And this is a Google Sheet that, hold on, how can I open it? Oh no. No. Okay, I'm gonna search for it here. Hold on one second. And then I'm gonna share the link. And then what you can do is you can make a copy of the sheet. Here it is. You can make a copy of the sheet for yourself, and there are all the different requirements and the hourly rates and the apply links, how you can apply. And you can just check that out. So I'm just gonna share that now. It looks like this right here, this Docs, Google Docs link. So click on that, and then what you can do is you can just go to File, Make a Copy. File, Make a Copy, and then you can save that for yourself. I know that many of you guys watching have already done that. You have that copy, but if you do that, so you go to File, Make a Copy, you can really then refer back to that at any time. You can check it out. There's also the different requirements. Is a TEFL required for this? Do they accept non-native speakers, etc.? Are there any minimum hours that are required per week? What types of students is this platform for? So yeah, go ahead and check that out. Do you need a degree or whatnot? Do you need to have teaching experience? So yeah, I see somebody's looking at the sheet. So just go to File and Make a Copy, and you can save that for yourself. All right. Good. Awesome. Okay. Yep. So this sheet is something I really like to share. I think it's super useful for online teaching. So many different platforms you can really choose from. And maybe some of you are confused. Why does it say 20 non-Chinese online teaching companies? But this is because last year in the summer, about a year ago, in China, they had this huge like online teaching crash almost, where the government put into place new regulations, kind of banning foreign teachers or teachers from abroad. Like there were a lot of Americans, for example, or North Americans, Canadians, teaching English on Chinese online platforms, and the government in China kind of banned that. And then a lot of these Chinese online companies, online teaching platforms kind of went bankrupt, or they weren't able to hire foreigners from abroad anymore. So we were looking for alternatives that are safe, basically, where it's not like, oh, suddenly the next day you'd be out of work. So that's why it says 20 non-Chinese online teaching platforms, because they don't face this issue, basically. You're good to go with those. You don't have to worry about any Chinese regulations when you work for any of these companies here. Okay, good. Then, if maybe online teaching is not your cup of tea, or you're like, yeah, I want to gain experience, but maybe not online, I want to do something like in person, what can I do? Volunteering is a really great way to do so. And there are a lot of great ways you can volunteer. You don't even, yes, there are like volunteer programs where you can go abroad and teach abroad, volunteer teach, people, but you don't even need to do that. It's great if you do that. Awesome. If you want to do that, go for it. It looks amazing on your resume. But some people don't have the time, don't have the money, don't have the resources to do that. So you can just uh, find volunteer work. Jesus, volunteer work in your own community, right? Go to your community centers, ask there. I know that here in Korea, in my city, they're always looking for teachers who maybe can teach English to some children from financially disadvantaged families and stuff. There's lots of opportunities you can do. You can volunteer in your own communities. These days, also, what my friends back home are doing, also in Europe, they actually volunteer teach refugees. So that's a really big thing that you can get involved with. So you don't really need to move abroad to do that. But any kind of volunteer teaching work, from an employer's perspective, just looks amazing on your resume, right? I mean, volunteering in general looks great on everybody's resume, no matter what job you apply for, but especially teaching, because you are applying for a teaching job, so it looks just great. And volunteering just shows an awareness and empathy for local and international issues, and a level of self-sacrifice, in that you're giving up your own free time to improve your own skills, as well as providing a learning platform for others. So I just read that word for word because it just sounds really nice. But yeah. All right. Danielle says, I couldn't agree more. I've learned so much from this global online learning experience lately. I'm now quite interested in giving a go to teaching online before moving abroad. Yeah. So teaching online is just so great before you move abroad, because also for yourself, you already get some teaching experience. So when you then are in an actual classroom, it's overwhelming enough, because there are like 20 kids looking at you, which is overwhelming. But it kind of takes some of that pressure away when you've already been through hours and hours of online teaching. It is different, obviously, online teaching compared to in person, but it just helps you get more comfortable as a teacher, and also kind of find out your own learning style, teaching style. So yeah, that's really great. Okay, so this is, that about volunteer work. All right, now we're jumping into tip number 5, proof of English proficiency. right? And like we said in the beginning, this tip is more targeted at non-native English speakers, right? Non-native English speakers from countries that are not English speaking, who have never had English, like didn't go to English and all English school or English speaking like university, school environment, those teachers. So why is that? Unfortunately, the native speakerism um, has really led to a bias against non-native speakers, regardless of how excellent their English is. And we hear that all the time. And that just exists in the TEFL industry. Unfortunately, it does. You can definitely feel that. There are a lot of countries where it's pretty much impossible for non-native English speakers to even become English teachers, which is really sad. But still, there are a lot of places where you definitely can make it as a non-native English teacher. But then obviously, you always will have to work a little bit harder, unfortunately, um, when you compete with native English speakers, because native speakerism in a lot of EFL employers' minds is just better, which I really don't agree with. I think if you have gone through the process of learning English as a student yourself, I think that already makes you a better English teacher when you've been through the whole process yourself. So yeah. Anyhow, so in this case, because of this unfortunate bias, non-native English teachers, you guys should take on extra qualifications, and these they can really help you set you apart at the application stage. We talked about that last week, I believe, as well, with the English proficiency certificates and which ones are good to have. And I've done a lot of research because obviously I don't have one. But I have asked a lot of people what they recommend, and those two, the IELTS, which stands for International English Language Testing System, excuse me, and TEFL, which stands for Test of English as a Foreign Language, those are recognized worldwide. Pretty much anyone around the world knows these, and those are the big two. So if you are deciding, hey, which English proficiency certificate should I go for? If you pick one of these, you'll be good. You'll be good. You could take one of these or both, but I know they're also not. They are also quite, I think, quite expensive to do the certificate. So you might not be able to do both. At least not at the same time. Maybe you can do one and then a couple of years the other one. I mean, building a resume also, again, is something that's done over years, right? It's not like to say that you need to do all of these things right now, right away, because that's impossible, pretty much. So, building your resume, boosting your resume is something you do over a period of time, right? Because you learn something new, you add it to your resume. You have a new teaching experience, you add it to your resume. You're constantly adding things to your resume, constantly boosting your resume, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. I hope that's clear. I don't want to sound like, oh, you need to do all of these things right now in order to go to teach abroad. No. What you can do, pick one of these, start with that, right? And then just build onto it over time. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, English proficiency certificates, IELTS and TEFL are the two gold standard ones, if you will. They will really help you. They look amazing on your resume for non-native English teachers, especially. All right, and then tip number 6, which is already the last tip. So after this, we're going to do a Q&A. You can ask me some questions. So experience abroad or language skills. So those are completely different things, but I just put them into one tip because they're kind of similar. So if you don't have any teaching experience yet, maybe you have had a gap year experience or au pair experience, longer kind of trips, language exchanges, school exchanges, internships abroad, anything like that can look really, really good on your resume if you don't have any other like professional experience. And this experience abroad really shows your eagerness to learn about new cultures and your adaptability, mostly. Adaptability. Mostly your eagerness to learn about new cultures that you have been before. Because from a TEFL employer's perspective, it is very expensive to hire a teacher from abroad. And the worst thing that could happen to them, they put all this time and money and effort into hiring you. And then you get there to wherever it is, South Korea, China, anywhere, to different culture. You get there, and then you're overwhelmed, culture shock, you can't deal, you can't adapt, it's not for you, and you just decide to go back home. And then they wasted all this money on you and this time. So that's the worst thing that can happen. And that's what they really try to avoid. So they prefer picking people who are, comfortable in a new culture. And when you put experience abroad on there, that just shows them, hey, it's not the first time they go abroad. They've been through that. They're cool. They're not going to freak out and go back home. Because that happens. That happens. I've witnessed that. It doesn't happen all the time, but some teachers, they get to a country, they thought it was great in their head, but then they get here, it's completely different from what they expected, and they just picked up and left, sat on a plane and went back home. And that's just something that the TEFL employers want to avoid. And by putting that experience on your resume, you can kind of show them, hey, no problem for me. I'm comfortable abroad, so I'm not going to do that. The other point, the foreign language skills are also a huge plus on your resume. Because from a school, from an employer's point of view, if you know what learning a language is like, you'll be able to empathize with your own students. You're going to make a better teacher. And I completely agree with that. If you have no idea what it's like to learn a foreign language, you won't be able to really understand your own students, I think, in my opinion. So definitely having that foreign language, even if you don't, it doesn't mean like you need to be fluent in a different language. That's not what it means. It's more about that experience, that you've gone through a learning experience, learning a new language, that experience. So even if you just put on there, yeah, I'm just basic level Spanish, whatever, it doesn't matter. You don't need to be fluent in Spanish. Just as long as they see, hey, you have actually learned a foreign language before, that's already a huge plus. Even better, if you say you want to go to Korea, for example, and you put on there, basic Korean, that's already cool. Then they know, oh, this person is interested in Korea, in the Korean culture. They're going to be a great fit. So something like that. And it's also, picking up the language of the country where you want to go to before you even leave your home country is a great thing anyway, because it just helps you. You'll be able to order food, really basic things. Even you can just say hello and goodbye and thank you and please to people. It just goes a long way. So this is something I always recommend. I love languages. That's what my whole life was about, learning languages. I'm all about that. But it just really helps, and it looks really, really good on your resume. All right, Amitava, hi, how are you doing? I'm great. And thank you, Juliana, for explaining that with the levels. All right. Yeah. So this was the last tip I have for you today. Let's do a quick recap. So we talked about getting the right TEFL course. And you want to aim for at least 120 hours from an accredited provider. The second tip I had for boosting your TEFL resume was doing advanced TEFL courses, because they really show an employer that you're committed to improvement from both a career and a personal perspective. So that's really, really great for that. Teaching online, we talked about that. So if you teach online with a reputable company, it will not only express your desire to gain experience, but it'll also provide you with a reference that an employer can use to learn more about you. So that's another important point, right? If you don't have any prior work experience, putting that online stuff on there is another way where a potential employer can get a reference about you, right? So that's another great thing. Then we talked about volunteering. Volunteering shows initiative, it shows empathy and a strong work ethic. So it looks great on your TEFL resume. Next, we talked about English proficiency certificates. So attaining IELTS or TEFL qualifications really helps to break down barriers or preconceived notions and ideas an employer might have if you're not a native English speaker. If you don't have English proficiency certificates, most and you are a non-native English speaker, they just gonna have these preconceived notions. Oh, your English is bad. So you put those IELTS and TEFL qualifications on there. The more you have, the better. You show them, hey, my English is awesome. So they don't even have to think about that. And then the last point we talked about was experience living or traveling abroad. They show your eagerness to learn about new cultures and foreign language skills. They make you understand what your own students are going through. So this is why that also looks great on your resume. All right. Now, again, doesn't mean you need to have all of those. Like I said, building a resume, and this is what Daniel said too, it's like taking baby steps, right? Doesn't mean like if your resume doesn't look like this now, it doesn't have to look like this tomorrow. It can look like this in a couple of years from now, in a couple of months from now. Don't worry, don't rush. It's a process, but you can take baby steps. If there's one thing that is achievable for you right now, then you start with that and then you move on to the next one. All right. Okay, so yeah, I hope that this maybe made you a little bit more ready for taking on teaching English abroad or online, or just your next step, right? What's your next step in this journey? And I have some more additional helpful tips for your TEFL job hunt here. And this is actually from a live session that I did before, and it talks about the next step. So after your resume, and then you get the call for the interview. So now what do? You should watch this one. The 15 most asked questions in a TEFL interview. This will help you navigate the next step of the process. Once you send out your resume, you got a call back, and now you're freaking out about the interview. No need to worry. Check out this video, and I'm going to share the link with you too. If I can. Can I click on that? Okay. And I'm going to share with you this link so you can watch the video too. Hold on one second. All right, here it is. I'm going to post it in the chat. Yep. All right, here it is. Looks like this. That's the video about 15 most asked questions for your TEFL interview. Check that out and you feel a lot more comfortable around that TEFL interview experience. And then, oh no, it's starting right away. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Then before we go into Q&A, this is how you can reach ITTT. On our website, you can actually request a callback in the header of the website. You can email us, courses@tsol-tefl.com, and our website is teflcourse.net. That's how you can reach ITTT. And I want it to look like this. And again, quick reminder, we do have 30% off any TEFL or TESOL course from ITTT. All you need to do is scan this QR code with your phone, or I also have the link for you, which is the same thing. You just fill out the application. You'll see like, congratulations, you get a 30% discount or something when you click on this, and then you can fill out that application, any course, and you can, it will be a lot cheaper this way. All right. And then we can go into Q&A. I already see there is a question from Gregory. So I want to address that. I just want to wait a second if somebody's scanning this code. You can also take a screenshot of this code if you want to refer back to it later, or, just watch the replay. All good. or just copy this link here that ends with Facebook Live minus Linda. This will get you 30% off any TEFL or TESOL course from ITTT. If you have problems with this link, application process, anything, feel free to ask me. Feel free to reach out. I can help you out as well. Okay. And then, oh, I think this is the slide I'm going to leave open. Okay, my bad. I'm just going to leave it like this. All right. So Gregory's asking, does ITTT provide job placement assistance? I'm 120 hours certified from ITTT and have 14 years of teaching experience. Wow, awesome. That's great. Yes, we do have job placement assistance. We have lifetime job assistance at ITTT. So, yeah, you have access to that. All you need to do is just email us. Let us know what you just told me, that you are an ITTT course graduate, and then we will help you out with the next steps. So all you need to do is just email courses@tsol-tefl.com, and then you will get job assistance for completely free. Doesn't cost a thing. All of our ITTT course graduates have access to lifetime free job assistance. Okay. And then Engli was saying, how much for the first package? Okay, I think you mean the 220-hour package, right? All right, let me pull that up for you. The 220-hour master package. And remember, we do have 30% off. So you can check it out. There are two versions of this. So with many of our courses, there's two versions. One is with tutor support and one is without tutor support. So whether or not to go with tutor support depends on your own learning style. Are you comfortable just learning by yourself without any external assistance? Then you can do without tutor support. With tutor support, we'll also get you videos, which is really helpful. So you can watch videos about the course content as well. And you have access to a professional TEFL tutor who you can contact at any time. If you have any issues, any questions, or you don't understand something, then you can reach out to that tutor. So, yeah, it really just depends on you. And I'm going to share that link with you right now, Engli, so you can check that out on the website. Here. This is the 220-hour master package link for Engli or anybody else who's interested, and you can check it out. It is with the 30% off link. So when you click on that and apply, then you should see the 30% discount as well. If you don't, let me know and I'll help you out. All right. You're welcome, Gregory. Good luck with your job search. Are you planning on staying in Korea or you want to go somewhere different? And Danielle says, I thought this was a great live session for us to acknowledge where we're at and what we still need to work on to move forward. Thank you, Danielle. Well said. That's exactly kind of what I wanted to achieve. No panic, just kind of putting it out there. Hey, this is what you can do to improve your resume. And that's that. Baby steps, like Danielle said, baby steps. Just all the options that are out there. Engli is asking, how long will it take? The course, the 220-hour course. So first with the 220-hour course, you complete the 120-hour course. With this one, you have up to 6 months to complete the course, but most people, depending on how much time you have, most people complete it faster. So maybe in 3 months. It took me 3 to 4 months, and I was working full-time at the time. So maybe you can do it faster if you have more time. It depends on you. And then the two other courses, you have an additional 6 months each, I believe. But those are 50-hour courses, so they take a lot less time. So maybe even just a month to complete. It all depends on you, how fast you study, how quickly you absorb the information. But typically, people complete it in a couple of months. All right, Gregory's saying, I'm planning to move to Thailand next year with my wife and new baby girl. Awesome. That's awesome. I wish you all the best. Thailand is amazing. I'm sure you're going to love it there. We have a lot of ITTT graduates who have moved to Thailand as well. Great. All right. Okay, we're almost 1 hour into the live session, so I'm going to take a couple more questions and then I'm going to sign off. So, last questions. Who has more questions? Before I sign off for today, let me know. Let me know. And also, if you have any topic suggestions for future live sessions, what you would like me to talk about, what you're interested in, let me know as well. I'm always looking for new topics to talk about. We've been doing these live sessions for close to 2 years. I think it's a year and maybe 9 months that we've been doing that. So at some point, I fear we're going to run out of topics. So I need your help a little bit. Okay, English says B2 can apply. So your English level is B2. B2 is quite high, so I don't think you're going to have any issues. However, in that case, I think I would recommend a tutor support. All right, tutor support, I think would be more helpful for you then in that case. So if you don't understand anything, if you have questions, you can ask your tutor. And there will also be videos, which will also help you better. Okay. Juliana says, I love the slides you made for today's live session. Yeah, I love them too. They are actually they were pre-made, the design, but I just loved it and I tweaked it a little bit to fit today's topic. So yeah, thank you. I wanted to change it up a little bit. Something different. Great. Thanks. Thanks for noticing. All right. Okay, good. Anybody else has a last question? Gregory says this was very informative. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. I appreciate your time also. I think you guys were really watching the whole time. Thank you. Because some people, they just come in and out, right? The live sessions. But I really appreciate when people like you guys really take the time and you watch the whole full thing. That's really amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I will be back next week. So I hope to see you again there. Same place, same time. I will be here. I hope you too. Okay. Good. English says, do you prefer Zoom application? What do you mean? Zoom application? Like online application? Do I prefer for online teaching? Oh, for the Zoom application. Oh, okay, got it. I do, yes. I used to use Skype a lot. And then I use Zoom. I use now both Zoom and Skype. So where I teach that platform, the student can actually book. They can decide which platform they want to use, either Skype or Zoom. But I do think Zoom is better for online teaching because I feel like they have more features and also with the sound. I think on Skype, Zoom has a feature where you can share your computer sound. So if you do listening exercises where you listen to MP3, like audio files, I think Zoom works better. Unless Skype has figured that one out and improved it, I'm not sure. But I think Zoom is a little bit better. Gregory, you too. Have a great weekend. Thank you. All right. Okay. Good questions, guys. If anybody else has one last question, I'll be here to answer it. And if not, then I'm ready to say goodbye. But this was a really great session. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. All right. Yeah, I think that is about it then. All right, then if nobody has a question, I think I'm going to sign off. I'm just going to wait a little bit. There is always a lag, like a time delay. between me talking and then you guys seeing it. So I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to ask their questions, and I don't want to sign off too early, but I think it looks good now. I think no more questions, maybe. Okay. All right. Good. Then, well, if you do have a question and you put it in the comments, we will get back to the comments later on as well. So if you watch the replay and you want to ask questions, you can do so as well. Thank you, Juliana. Have a wonderful weekend too. Hi, Engli. Yeah, I'm both German and American. I have 2 nationalities. All right, good guys. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you all again next week. All right. If you have any topic suggestions for me, feel free to drop them to me via Instagram or here on Facebook, whatever you want. And then I hope to see you all again next week. Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.